Prime Minister Narendra Modi to attend function marking Goa Liberation Day celebrations. Also to inaugurate multiple development projects, distribute awards to the best Panchayat, municipality, Swayam Purna Mitras and beneficiaries of Swayam Purna Goa program. Second day of ongoing third India-Central Asia dialogue being held in New Delhi. Foreign ministers of Kazakhstan, Kyrgyz Republic, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan to attend the dialogue. Discussions likely on further strengthening of relations between India and Central Asian countries with a particular focus on trade, connectivity and development cooperation. Omicron variant sweeps Europe. Over 10,000 new Omicron cases found in the UK. Netherlands announces Christmas lockdown over Omicron wave. Germany to impose quarantine on travellers from Britain from Monday midnight. WHO says Omicron is spreading significantly faster than the Delta variant in countries with documented community transmission. Says number of cases is doubling in 1.5 to 3 days in areas with community transmission. Omicron variant has been reported in 89 countries. In sports, Kidambi Srikanth creates history, becomes first Indian man to reach finals of World Badminton Championships. Beats compatriot Lakshya Sen in semi-finals. Srikanth to face Loh Kian Yew of Singapore in title clash. And in hockey, defending champions India to clash with Japan in Asian Champions Trophy tournament. India currently lead the standings with 7 points from 3 games ahead of Korea, Japan and Pakistan. Hello and welcome to this edition of the news. I'm Rukmayana. Top story. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will today attend the Goa Liberation Day celebrations to mark 60 years of the state's liberation from Portuguese rule in Panaji. Prime Minister will felicitate freedom fighters and veterans of Operation Vijay at the function. Goa Liberation Day is celebrated on December 19th every year to mark the success of Operation Vijay, undertaken by the Indian Armed Forces to liberate Goa from Portuguese rule.
Goa, the tiniest and among the most beautiful states in India, nestled between the emerald Western Ghats in the east and the Arabian Sea in the west. Goa has had its fair share of subjugation. 450 years at the hands of the Portuguese is the highest ever period of subjugation faced by any region in the Indian subcontinent. The struggle for freedom by the natives and the fight to merge with mainland Mother India is a tale of valor and bravery par excellence. Goa this year is celebrating the 60th year of liberation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Goa and will be the chief guest of the main function for 60 years of Goa's liberation. On the occasion, Prime Minister will felicitate freedom fighters and veterans of Operation Vijay. During this, the Prime Minister will inaugurate various development projects for the people of Goa.
गोवा मुक्ति की 60 साल हम मना रहे हैं और इस 60 साल के मुक्ति के कार्यक्रम में माननीय पंतप्रधान नरेंद्र मोदी जी 19 दिसंबर को दोपहर में 1:30 बजे गोवा में आ रहे हैं। मैं माननीय पंतप्रधान नरेंद्र मोदी जी का गोवा सरकार की तरफ से, गोवा के लोगों की तरफ से बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूं और गोवा के लोग उनका इंतजार कर रहे हैं। गोवा एट रेट 60 इस कार्यक्रम में वो गोवा के लोगों को संबोधित करेंगे।
On the 19th of December 1961, Goa was freed from the Portuguese rule, with the Indian Army marching on December 18th in 1961 in an operation codenamed Operation Vijay. The 48-hour bloodless operation ended when the Portuguese Governor-General hoisted a white flag atop the Secretariat complex, indicating that the Portuguese had surrendered the capital of what was once a vast maritime empire in Asia. Recalling the brutal atrocities perpetrated by the Portuguese on Goan people, 89-year-old Goan freedom fighter Nagesh Karmali said, hundreds of freedom fighters were imprisoned by the Portuguese rulers. He said, the Portuguese considered us as Portuguese, but we consider ourselves Indians.
हर क्षेत्र में बदल आ गए हैं। यहाँ रास्ते नहीं थे, ब्रिज नहीं थे, ये सब गत 60 सालों में ये सब हो गया। और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है, बड़ी उपलब्धि गोवा की यह है कि गोवा में साक्षरता केवल 30% से कम थी, 30% से कम थी। अब हम 100% की तरफ बढ़ रहे हैं। और गोवा में कोई महाविद्यालय नहीं थे, कॉलेज नहीं थे, कुछ नहीं थे। तो अभी गोवा में क्या है, कॉलेजेस है।
On 15th August 1947, India got its independence. But one of its states on the western coast, that is Goa, has got its independence on 19 December 1961 from the Portuguese rule. Portuguese have ruled Goa for nearly 450 years. And in 1961, Goa got liberated from Portugal rule. Obviously, many freedom fighters and the central government have also helped achieve this liberalization for the Goa. Today, Goa is celebrating 60 years of its independence, and that's the reason a special program was organized where Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be participating. Obviously, this was an important historical day for the Goa. On the occasion, Prime Minister will also felicitate some of the war veterans and, of course, the freedom fighters in Goa. Shirishila for DD News.
On the occasion, the Prime Minister will also be inaugurating multiple development projects to benefit people of Goa.
On his visit to Goa, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate multiple development projects, including the renovated Fort Aguada Jail Museum, Super Speciality Block at Goa Medical College, New South Goa District Hospital, Aviation Skill Development Center at Mopa Airport, and the gas-insulated substation at Dabalim Navalim Margao. He will also lay the foundation stone for India International University of Legal Education and Research of the Bar Council of India Trust in Goa.
डे बाय डे गोवा के डेवलपमेंट हम गोवावासी देखते आ रहे हैं, लेकिन एक्चुअल डेवलपमेंट जो स्टार्ट हो गई है वो डबल इंजन की सरकार के वास्ते 2014 से आज तक 8 साल में जितनी हमने डेवलपमेंट की, उससे पहले 50 साल में इस तरह की डेवलपमेंट कभी नहीं हुई थी। इसीलिए हम डबल इंजन की गवर्नमेंट जो डबल ग्रोथ के साथ जो डेवलपमेंट कर रहे हैं, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट और ह्यूमन डेवलपमेंट दोनों तरफ की डेवलपमेंट गोवावासी देख रहे हैं।
Industry players from Goa think that these projects would help Goa's growth story. Goan technocrat and businessman Nitin Kunkolinkar said that the basic infrastructure development would help to bring investment and employment opportunities to Goa.
So hinterland of Goa is getting developed. Electronic manufacturing cluster was sanctioned for Goa. That is just inaugurated in September. That is also going to attract world-class electronic units very soon. Once this highway is there, it is just 3 kilometers from highway. There is no such electronic hardware cluster in India which is 3 kilometers away from the national highway, which is a very progressive national highway.
Apart from that, the Prime Minister will also give special focus on the tourism activities here by inaugurating the renovated Aguada Fort in Goa. Well, obviously, these are important projects from the Goa's perspective, and going forward for the next few years, these projects will pave way for the better development of Goa in all regions. Shirishilar for DD News, Panaji.
Ahead of his Goa visit, Prime Minister tweeted, I quote, "Looking forward to join Goa Liberation Day celebrations. Multiple development works will also be inaugurated which will positively transform the lives of Goa's wonderful people." Today is the second day of the ongoing third India-Central Asia dialogue being held in New Delhi. Foreign ministers of Kazakhstan, the Kyrgyz Republic, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan will attend the dialogue in New Delhi. As part of the third meeting of the India-Central Asia dialogue, the ministers are expected to discuss further strengthening of relations between India and Central Asian countries with a particular focus on trade, connectivity and development cooperation. They will also exchange views on regional and international issues of mutual interest. The third edition of the India-Central Asia Dialogue began in New Delhi on Saturday. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and his counterparts from Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan are participating in the dialogue. All countries are seeking greater engagement in a spirit of friendship, trust and mutual understanding. Here's a report.
India is hosting the third edition of the India-Central Asia Dialogue in New Delhi from Saturday to discuss further strengthening of relations between member states with a focus on trade, connectivity and development cooperation. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is hosting the dialogue that is being attended by foreign ministers of 5 countries: Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan. There has been an active engagement between India and all 5 Central Asian countries over the last few years. India considers Central Asia as part of its extended neighbourhood. Spokesperson of Ministry of External Affairs said that holding of annual meetings of the India-Central Asia Dialogue is symbolic of the interest on the part of all member countries for greater engagement between them in a spirit of friendship, trust and mutual understanding.
There has been ongoing engagement between India and the 5 Central Asian countries over the last few years. India considers Central Asia as part of its extended neighbourhood. EM visited Kazakhstan, Kyrgyz Republic, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan this year, and he also met with the Foreign Minister of Turkmenistan in October this year. As part of the third meeting of the India-Central Asia Dialogue, on 19th December this year, the ministers are expected to discuss further strengthening of relations between India and Central Asian countries.
The visiting foreign ministers will also call on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Besides taking part in the dialogue, the Foreign Minister of Tajikistan, Sirojuddin Muhriddin, is also paying an official bilateral visit to New Delhi. On Saturday, he held extensive talks with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar. The two sides discussed expanding bilateral cooperation in energy, connectivity, trade, security and capacity building, as well as regional developments, especially the situation in Afghanistan. The two sides signed agreements in the fields of diplomatic training and program of cooperation. In his statement, Dr. S. Jaishankar congratulated Tajikistan on its 30th anniversary of independence, conveyed appreciation of organization of SCO Council of Heads of State Summit, acknowledged 30 years of our diplomatic ties. We are happy to provide Made in India vaccines. Now we look forward to easier travel between India and Tajikistan. Also expressed his concern over developments in Afghanistan, appreciated the decision to join the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar visited Tajikistan 3 times this year for a bilateral visit as well as for taking part in the Heart of Asia conference in March, for the SCO Foreign Ministers meeting in June and for the SCO Council of Heads of State Summit in September. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval visited Tajikistan in June for SCO meetings. The visiting Foreign Minister of Tajikistan, Sirojuddin Muhriddin, met Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla in New Delhi. Birla warmly welcomed Muhriddin and held discussion on many issues. Speaker Birla said the relationship between the two countries is historic, having deep faith in the democratic values. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar also visited Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan this year. He also met with the Foreign Minister of Turkmenistan in October. The National Security Advisors and Secretaries of Security Councils from all 5 Central Asian countries, in addition to Russia and Iran, had visited India in November for the Delhi Regional Security Dialogue on Afghanistan. The India-Central Asia Dialogue was held via a video link in October last year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. The Made in India Central Asia Dialogue was co-hosted by Uzbekistan at Samarkand in January 2019. Bureau Report, DD India.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who is on a 2-day visit to Maharashtra, will today inaugurate the new building of the Central Forensic Science Laboratory, CFSL campus. The Home Minister will also attend Barakhana, a practice in the Indian Army and paramilitary organizations to prepare lunch or dinner on important days with the National Disaster Response Force personnel. The Home Minister will also attend the convocation ceremony of the Vaikunt Mehta National Institute of Cooperative Management, a grant and aid institution under the Union Ministry of Cooperation. The Home Minister will also lay the foundation stone of Chhatrapati Shivaji at the Pune Municipal Corporation. In Jammu and Kashmir, an unidentified terrorist was killed in an encounter that broke out between security forces and terrorists in the Harwan area of Srinagar this morning. Kashmir Zone Police in a tweet said one unidentified terrorist was killed. Search going on. Further details will follow. The Union Ministry of Law and Justice has clarified that Legislative Department organizes meetings with officers of the Election Commission and other relevant government departments in matters related to electoral reforms. In a statement, the ministry said that the Chief Election Commissioner (CEC) was not invited to the meeting held on 16 November this year on common electoral roll. The ministry further added that the meeting on the 16th of November was a virtual meeting and no physical meeting was organized in the Prime Minister's office. And it said that since Election Commission of India has the necessary expertise and mandate regarding electoral roll, and in light of the previous letters of CEC addressed to the Law Minister, Secretary, Legislative Department thought it appropriate to invite officials of the Election Commission to this meeting. Accordingly, Under Secretary, Legislative Department sent a letter to the Secretary, Election Commission of India on 15th November to attend the meeting scheduled next day. The letter was addressed to the Secretary, and the final operative paragraph of the letter also requested Secretary ECI to attend the meeting. An update now on our nationwide COVID-19 vaccination drive, with the administration of 69,21,097 vaccine doses till Saturday 7 p.m. Our COVID-19 vaccination coverage has crossed the 137 crore landmark milestone. 137 crore 37 lakh 66,189 vaccine doses have been administered across the country so far. Of total vaccinations, more than 82.60 crore vaccine doses have been given as the first dose, while over 54 crore 77 lakh doses have been administered as the second dose. The National Hockey League on Saturday announced enhanced COVID-19 measures, which include daily testing and restrictions amid the emergence of the Omicron variant and a recent increase in positive cases among teams. Under the measures, players will be tested daily instead of every third day, though they do not need tests on off days. Additional pre-game testing could be implemented on a case-by-case basis when an outbreak occurs within a team following a consultation with the NHL and the league's Players Association (NHL-PA). The decision comes after the NHL on Friday shut down the Calgary Flames, Colorado Avalanche and Florida Panthers through at least December 26th because of COVID-19 concerns. According to ESPN, more than 130 NHL players have been placed on the league's COVID-19 protocol list this season. The NHL said in a statement on Saturday that the enhanced measures, which apply to fully vaccinated and unvaccinated players, will be in place at least until the 7th of January. And let's now take a look at updates on COVID-19 from across the world, which recorded an upward trend in COVID cases, lodging over 27 crore 45 lakh COVID-19 cases and recoveries above 24 crore 63 lakhs. The virus has claimed more than 53 lakh 66,000 lives globally. The US continues to remain the worst hit from the disease, where COVID-19 cases have crossed 5 crore 16 lakhs. The country has lost over 8 lakh 27,000 lives to the disease. European countries are witnessing a spike in cases too, prompted by the spread of the Omicron variant. The UK has the highest number of cases, standing at above 1 crore 12 lakhs, followed by Russia that has over 1 crore 1 lakh cases. France registered more than 85 lakh 77,000 cases, while Germany's cases remain at over 67.88 lakhs. Crossing a grim milestone in the tally of Omicron variant cases, more than 10,000 new Omicron cases have been confirmed in Britain as the variant surges across the UK. A further 90,418 daily COVID cases have been reported across the UK on Saturday after days of record highs. Scientific advisors have warned England's hospital admissions could reach 3,000 a day without new measures. London Mayor Sadiq Khan said the major incident in the capital showed how serious things are. Ministers receiving a briefing on the latest COVID data on Saturday afternoon, with a meeting of the COBRA Emergency Committee due to be held this weekend. Meanwhile, anti-lockdown protesters in London hurled metal barriers at police outside 10 Downing Street. There were tense scenes outside Downing Street in central London on Saturday as protesters at an anti-lockdown event hurled metal barriers at police officers. A number of them were injured, but so far no arrests have been made. Britain reported a surge in cases of the Omicron coronavirus variant on Saturday, which government advisors say could be just the tip of the iceberg. The number of cases recorded across the country hit almost 25,000 as on Friday, up by more than 10,000 cases from 24 hours earlier. 7 people are believed to have had the Omicron variant, dying as of Thursday, up from 1 death in the UKHSA's previous data, which ran up to Tuesday. Meanwhile, the Netherlands has announced a strict lockdown over Christmas amid concerns over the Omicron coronavirus variant. Non-essential shops, bars, gyms, hairdressers and other public venues will be closed until at least mid-January. All schools will be shut until at least the 9th of January. 2 guests per household will be allowed, 4 over the holidays. Countries across Europe have been tightening restrictions as the heavily mutated variant spreads. The new rules in the Netherlands, the strictest to have been announced over Omicron so far, come into force today.
Samengevat. The Netherlands will go into lockdown one more time starting tomorrow. The Netherlands is again shutting down. That is unavoidable because of the 5th wave that is coming at us with the Omicron variant. Omicron is spreading even faster than we feared. And so we must all act now to prevent as much of the worst as possible.
Nog sneller dan we al vreesden.
Meanwhile, before the COVID-19 lockdown was announced, the Dutch hit the shops on Saturday as they prepared for a Christmas lockdown that is closing essential stores from today. As the health minister said, authorities were extremely worried about the Omicron variant of COVID-19. The main shopping street in Nijmegen, 120 kilometers from Amsterdam, was packed with people looking for last-minute gifts. Germany will impose quarantine on travellers from Britain from midnight on Monday and require a negative COVID-19 test for entry into the country. Germany's regional health ministers had urged the national government on Saturday to introduce tougher rules on people arriving from Britain, where the Omicron coronavirus variant has sparked a surge in infections. At a meeting, the ministers called on Berlin to classify Britain as a virus variant area, enforcing a 2-week quarantine on all travellers, including those who are vaccinated. The ministers in a statement said that the spread of Omicron in the UK is very evident and that they have to prevent the spread for as long as possible and slow it down as much as possible. Britain has reported record daily COVID-19 infections for the past 3 days, reaching over 90,000 on Friday. Infections rose steeply in Germany through October and November, but have been slowly falling since December, with 50,968 reported on Friday. So far, 67,88,546 people in Germany have been infected with COVID, while it reports 1,08,836 deaths so far from the virus. In France, thousands of protesters marched across Paris on Saturday to denounce the newly announced vaccine pass, which will take effect in January. The anti-vaccine protesters, who gathered in front of the health ministry, challenged the efficacy of the health pass and said it violated freedoms. France hopes that a planned new vaccine pass that will be required to enter public places will persuade more people to get inoculated against COVID-19 as the country faces a rapid spread of the Omicron variant. Earlier, the French premier on Friday said the government will propose a bill in parliament in January to change France's health pass into a vaccine pass, meaning only vaccinated people will be allowed to enter indoor public places such as bars, restaurants and cinemas. Under current regulations, a recent negative COVID-19 test or proof of vaccination suffices. In Spain, too, hundreds of demonstrators gathered in Barcelona and Bilbao on Saturday to protest against COVID-19 passes that are now required to enter bars, restaurants, gyms and care homes. In Bilbao, hundreds marched across the Basque country capital to protest against coronavirus certificates. With a nationwide vaccination rate of nearly 80%, Spain had been largely spared the latest wave of contagion sweeping Europe that has pushed countries like Germany and Austria to reintroduce tough restrictions on travel and socializing. Spain's coronavirus infection rate rose above 500 cases per 1 lakh people on Friday, crossing over the threshold considered very high risk by the Health Ministry and more than doubling since the start of December. Spain has recorded over 5.46 million cases and more than 88,708 deaths since the pandemic began. The number of Omicron cases is growing across the world. The virus has been spreading faster than the Delta variant. WHO has warned that the virus should not be taken lightly, urging countries in the Southeast Asian region to scale up public health and social measures in the wake of the Omicron spread. WHO also has said the countries must continue to focus on protecting the least protected and those at high risk. Some sports news now. Former world number 1 Kidambi Srikanth defeated Lakshya Sen in an epic semi-final clash of the World Championships 2021. Srikanth came back from a game down to win 17-21, 21-14, 21-17 to enter a maiden final, while Lakshya returns home with the first ever bronze from the championship. Kidambi Srikanth will face Lokian Yu of Singapore in the title clash. Assured of a place in the semi-finals, defending champions India will look to continue its winning run when it clashes with Japan in their final round-robin match of the Asian Champions Trophy men's hockey tournament. After a slow start to the tournament, India roared back into the 5-team tournament with 2 consecutive wins. Earlier, India beat arch-rivals Pakistan 3-1 and are currently leading the standings with 7 points from 3 games ahead of Korea, Japan and Pakistan. Well, that's all we have for you in this edition of the news. News and updates continue on DD India, so do keep watching. Have a great day.